I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the fray, and the home of the brave?
Good evening, everybody. How are y'all? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Freedom Network. Yes, you heard it right. You heard it right. 50 on the Freedom Network. We are here for you. TimMcGarry@gmail.com. You can get right on in. Facebook group, the Freedom Network. Thanks to a great new open to Tim. Great job. It's our 50th show. 50th show here in the Northbridge studio. I've done radio in the past, as you know, and then my friend Tim and I got together, as many of you know and have seen. We got together and we started this thing called the Freedom Network. We started it in Stoughton, Massachusetts, as the open, alludes to and whatnot. But this is now our 50th show in Northbridge. Great studio here. Awesome people that run the place. 50 shows old tonight. Feels, doing a weekly show. That's a lot of time passed between them. Now, I want to thank you all, and thank you all for your input that you've given. Countless emails, conversations online, Facebook, and through email, and of course here on the show. Local to national, you know what it's all about here on the Freedom Network. We're about freedom. We're about our Constitution. And I can't thank you enough for being involved in the new and growing movement that we're calling the Freedom Network. And let me tell you, it's growing. Lots of exciting things could be happening in the near future. We'll hopefully get an update on that from another good friend. We're going to blow this thing up, folks. We've done it. We've done some web tests and trials, if you will. We've had in the 100,000+ mark response. But here we are, sitting today as we have 49 times before in Northbridge, Massachusetts. Now, you may be watching us online right now. We think that we're up and we're online. Now, when we came in today, Charter, of course, Communications, which is a lovely company that we all, if you live in Northbridge, I know you all love it so much. I mean, I get your emails and all that kind of stuff all the time. Buddy in Texas, if you're seeing me, we're not streaming through our normal fashion because Charter wasn't able to, I guess, get it together and get us up and online. Now, did everybody have a little trouble with their cable this week? I had trouble with my cable this week. And you know what? I heard from about 5 other people that there was some trouble with cable. I hope we're not going back to the days of Charter where cable is like, yeah, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. You never really know. I'd love to see Charter right the hell out of town if you want to know my honest opinion about it. And I'll sit right here in their airwaves and tell you just so. Because that's the way it is on the Freedom Network. We say it how we want to say it. So if you want to say something, call it in, 266-0990. Email it in at timorgary@gmail.com. That number is in the 508 area code, 266-0990. And as always, I know you guys are far more comfortable with all the emails. Send them if you will. And let me know if you're watching online, if you can see us online. Right now, we're not using Charter, even though we're in a Charter facility, not a Charter facility, but on a Charter TV station. We are using Verizon. So how's that go, right? You have Charter and you can't use it. You got to use another company. Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. I get crazy about these things. I really do, because when you have a monopoly on something, you damn well better make sure it works, and it works right. And if it doesn't work, or it's not going to work right all the time, yeah, I want perfection in a monopoly. That's what I want. If I only have one choice, and you're the only people I can pay an exuberant amount of money to simply watch TV to, then you know what? Get it right. Or get out. How's that sound? I don't care. What do I care? We need competition. That's what we need in cable, competition. You should be able to do it like your cell phone. Where do you want to get it from? Then you'd see all these almighty cable companies would be acting a little bit differently. Well, not so much. I mean, look, I bash Verizon phones all the time. Now I'm with, listen, I'll tell you something. Verizon we had terrible times with. Charter I've had terrible times with. I don't know if any of these companies are better than one or the other, but I will tell you something. If you're watching us online today, Verizon is beating the you-know-what out of Charter, aren't they? Because you couldn't see this program if it was left to the devices of Charter, could you? Anyway, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the program now. We'll just go, because I'm done talking about Charter. Topic comes up too much, and if you notice, you never sit down and say, gee, we get such a great value for our cable, and boy, is the internet always perfect. And you know what? I mean, man, this is like the best. I love paying the easiest bill I pay. Easiest bill you probably pay is AAA or something like that. These things that bring you something and some value to it, right? Where's the value here? Where's the value? They all just have a basic price structure, just like with the telephones. And what that means is pick whoever you want on a whim. We're all going to screw you. And that's how it goes. The problem is in the cable industry, you don't have a choice, or many times you don't have a choice. Now, some of you may, and boy, I bet you get a little better response, but maybe you don't. Anyway, let's go over some of those emails that have come in. A couple have come in now. Let's see. Let's just see what this one is. Let's talk Jeb, Graham, Christie, Jindal. Let's see. Have a that's funny. That is funny. Yes, and also just had read today that Jeb has enlisted his mommy for fundraising. Yes, he has. Yes, he has. He has. Mom's coming out. Although Mom didn't want him to run, right? Now Mom's coming out. Yeah, we'll talk about some of that stuff. Absolutely, we will. I've gathered all kinds of information from. I have to stomach it, but I go to the left. I stomach it a little bit on the right sometimes as well, but I go to all the news sources, try to get, different paragraphs, different things, put them together to try to get some kind of reality out of it, because you can't get reality out of the news media these days. There is no reality in the news media these days. Anyway, emails of note over the past week. Jimmy says, Gary, great show last week. I don't know if I agree or disagree. I was so behind the woman and against this gay marriage stuff, but now I don't know. Thanks for unmaking up my mind. Ha ha ha. Jimmy, I'm sorry about that. I just presented my case as I wanted to try to push it out there and see it and see who agreed with it. And folks, we got a huge response. A huge response. Matter of fact, I had to dump emails again. I had so many, it takes too long to load. So make sure that you email often, just in case that happens to you. But Jimmy, I mean, yeah, you know how I feel on it. I did a whole show on it. We can, if someone wants to call in, you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. We're going to talk a little presidential politics tonight as well. We got the debate tonight, of course. There's a debate going on right now, I think, but I don't know if anybody really cares about it. None of those people are going to go anywhere. I mean, it's good that they're on. Nobody should be excluded, to be quite honest with you. Everybody should have that chance. I mean, even if you're a person with just a small group of people, I guess your voice should be heard. But remember, there is one thing we do have to remember, though, about this stuff, is that, freedom of speech guarantees you just that, the freedom of speech. It doesn't guarantee you a platform. And that's something that a lot of people on both sides get a little bit confused about. It doesn't guarantee you the platform. You don't have the right to go to NBC and say what you want. You can come here and say what you want. You go to your local cable, you can say what you want. You can make a show. You can just sit around and talk. You can do anything you want. I knew a guy once that had a show. I think he let paint dry on it once or something like that. Interesting individual. Anyway, let's see. Tim emails in, and that's not Tim from Tim or Gary. He has a special hotline he can get in at any time he wants to. But anyway, Tim comes in with, Gary, last week you were spot on. I actually called some friends to tune you in. Thank you, Tim. Let's see. I am not one that could explain my feelings about this. I am a gay American, and I have never seen a conservative take the stand you did. I know we do not agree on most any political issue, as I am a liberal, so no, we probably don't agree on anything because I don't really like most of the liberal philosophy. There may be a few things. Remember one thing, no liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat. Look, the fact is, Tim, that no party or description thereof owns the right to an opinion on a topic. This is why I kind of go back and forth, you know what I mean, with my opinions on topics. I don't care what the Republicans say. I care about what I think about the issue. Probably 89.27% of the time, I'm going to agree with a conservative. You used to be able to find some decent ones in the Republican Party, but it is getting harder and harder when you've got so many now elected, and you could maybe put a handful together, if that. But anyway, sorry, Tim, I didn't mean to interrupt your email, sir. But I must say you're someone I need to listen to. Your explanation on gay marriage was far better than anyone's, period. Well, you know what, Tim, thank you, and I appreciate that you agree with me. If you're a liberal and you continue to watch the show, I'm going to aggravate the you-know-what out of you, but I love to have you out there, and I welcome you to be out there. We want everybody involved. The conversation is what's going to change America, and a lot of things need to change about America. Some things socially, some things fiscally. But a lot of things do need to change. The biggest changes need to come way up at the top. Everybody all right? They need to come way up at the top. And what we need to do is we need to make sure that outreach, if you will. You know, Tim, and this is my issue with this is where I get crazy. A lot of my foreign policy differs from I am in the middle. I don't want my head in the sand. Okay, because the world happens to be a big bad world out there, and the people that think no one's ever going to come here, well, people came here, right? We came here. You don't think somebody else is going to come here? You don't think somebody else wants this land? Do you really believe that the world is so peaceable that if we just did nothing, just nothing, and didn't interfere with anything, didn't even know about it, closed the embassies, the whole 9 yards, let's put our heads in the sand. If you think you'd be safe, you are as brainwashed as the left, because humanity is not like that. So we may differ on a lot of different issues, Tim, but get out there in the audience, and I hope that your friends will stay tuned in, and when you disagree, email or call me. No problem. We like to have through the controversy, if you will come truth, understanding of one another. We don't have to agree, but if we can understand where we're coming from, then we can move forward. America's got to change. Things must change. This isn't the let's give everybody everything, no problem. Let every illegal in that you want to let in. We're going to take Syrian refugees in now, and I'm sure that people are going to tell me that these are just the most peaceful of all the people. There's no way that there could be. Do you realize, if you look at all these people that have fled, why don't you turn around and fight? Why don't you try to take it back? Sometimes maybe they can't take it back. I get it. So maybe they need help. And if they need help, look at the military. Look what we've got going on. But let me tell you something. If you stick your head in the sand and you really believe that everybody's peaceable, and a lot of my people, and I say my people because people on the right that sit on a political spectrum further out to that right, some of that no government, anarchy, this, we should do nothing, we should have no aid, we should have no wars, we shouldn't interfere with anybody, and everybody's just going to leave us alone. I'm telling you guys, and I know dozens of you, and I'm telling you right now, how can you believe that the world is just going to say, okay, you're good? I think we need a strong military. I think it needs to be robust, but I don't think it needs to be all over the world. I don't think that we need to go into every country every minute that anybody has a problem. I don't think that we need to be the police of the world. I don't think we need to do and take part in nation building and things of this nature. But there is a point where you do need to get involved. Why do you think? I remember people that I debate with, because I debate with the far right, I debate with the far left, I debate with everybody. And yeah, I went backwards because I was trying to get the effect for TV. You know what I mean? I'm trying, 50 shows in, I'm learning. But the fact of the matter is that they wouldn't be fleeing if it was such a great place. And if all those are the peaceable people, then who's left? So if they're out and we really have a threat, let's go. If we stop fighting wars for money and we start fighting wars to protect Americans only and to protect our allies, absolutely. Because I'm going to tell you, the world is set up in 3 or 4 camps. And 2 of those camps are like this, and the others kind of sometimes merge a little bit. People will come. Well, they don't go to Denmark. No, they don't go to Denmark. You know why? Because why do you want Denmark? See, you think it's always just hatred of America. But if you believe in a real push for a global government, it's about more than that. It's about resources. But you guys, everybody's got to open their eyes to the fact that the United States of America is run on about this much of the Constitution. And it's supposed to be run on this much of the Constitution. If we just followed the Constitution, even within the Constitution, it says that we should not keep engaging in war after war after war. We need to defend ourselves. We need to defend people that would help defend us. So when the poop hits the fan, we have some people and some, just like when you're in school, you need a crew, right? Well, who's your something chatter LOL? The picture sound keeps cutting in and out too. Too bad they couldn't get the new background on. So we have Facebook here. Let's see. It should have been easy. We'll figure it out. Fantastic. Yeah. And I agree, my friend. I agree about Shatter. They really are something. They really are something. All right. And yeah, it's all good in the hood, as they say, right? Who says that anymore anyway? That's just a crazy, stupid thing to say. All right. I got emails flooding in. I'm trying to read them. I'm trying to talk to you folks. It is what it is, as they say. We'll see how the stream goes. I know it's a little bit choppy out there, but if you're tuned in via the stream, hang in there. They're doing the best that they can. All right. Anthony, your favorite liberal checking in. I'm a Bernie Sanders guy all the way. What do you think about that? Anthony, I think very little about that. Paula says, Gary, how do you have a socialist? You're gonna vote for a guy that says I'm a socialist Democrat. You're gonna vote for that guy to run the representative republic that we call the United States of America? Anthony, you can be my favorite liberal. I might have a few favorite liberals, but Anthony, you're in there. Paula, Gary, what's your opinion on a police chief being able to decide on a license to carry permits? How does this jive with the Constitution? Well, Paula, look, here's the fact. Want a fact? It doesn't jive with the Constitution, not at all. As a matter of fact, the issue becomes that and I've said this before, but Paula, a police chief could say, you know what, I don't want guns. And there are places where they have these types of situations, maybe in your town. And what happens is then there are no guns. And to blanketly say something like that is completely unconstitutional. 100%, unequivocally, absolutely no debate whatsoever on it. So by giving the power for somebody to say, no, I'm not going to have any guns, I think that's too much power. That's a right that Americans have. The gun debate is an easy debate, folks. This is not a complex issue. And we try to murky up the waters a little bit, but it's not complex at all. There's nothing complex whatsoever, actually. Nothing. It's in the Constitution. You have the right. Now we want to make some common sense laws. Some common sense laws. They should center around this sanity. And even in that, you could get the government deciding that everybody's insane, so nobody should have a gun. But if you're going to have any common type sense, as they like to say, restrictions or anything, that should be the avenue, and that should be the far left wanting that. That's how warped America is, that the far left wants to ban guns altogether. We've already gone beyond all the rules, the regulations, and all that. We have a serious problem, folks. Look at any conquered people. Legally, they can't own guns. And then what happens is people own them illegally. And then what happens is you've got rebels and fighting and wars between different areas and things of that nature. The Founding Fathers were pretty specific. Their work was fantastic. Their words in the Federalist Papers are very easy to follow on the right to keep and to bear arms. It's all in there. You don't have to interpret anything. Nothing. There's no need for it. Because it exists already in their words, not just in the Constitution, but in the Federalist Papers and many other writings. You, if you're an American citizen, have the right to have a gun. If you're going to disqualify that right from me, I think you've got to have a damn good reason. And I mean a damn good reason. So the debate on guns to me is a very simple debate. I understand that there's accidents. I understand that there's murders and this. I get it. I get it. I do get it. But you know what? The problem in most of those cases, first of all, isn't legal gun ownership. Second of all, and more importantly, when you look at the 20 or 30,000 deaths that they want to trot out to you, you have to understand that they include suicide in that. Suicide is by using a gun is the number one form of suicide. And those numbers are in there. Okay? As a nation, we're different than other nations. Yeah, we are. Yes, we are. And if you want to live in a world or a nation, whatever it may be, an area that has no guns, go to one. This country wasn't founded on the people won't have guns. This country was founded on the people will have guns. And you have guns to protect yourself. You have guns to protect yourself. You have guns to protect the government. And you have guns to protect yourself from the government. Read it. It's not my opinion. It's what they said. And that's what kept us free. Free. All right, Paula. Thanks for getting me all worked up. All right, Henry. Gary, first-time emailer. Cool show. I was not aware that we had anything like this in Northbridge. Glad I found you, Henry. Thank you. Glad that you're here and hope that you continue to tune in. Allison, hey, Gary, you're wrong about gay marriage. Excuse me, Allison. Gary, you're wrong about gay marriage, and the government should endorse good values and not allow the gays to have the same rights as others. You are not on the right, you are a liberal, I think. You won't read this on the show, but you can respond here if you want. Gay people and many others, were not intended to be they were not intended benefactors of the Constitution. This country was founded to be a white Christian nation. Allison, look at the television. Look into my face when I tell you this. You're out of your mind. You're wrong on every account. You're absolutely wrong. And I'll tell you why you're wrong. I'm going to tell you why. Let me tell you why you're wrong, Allison. And I'll respond here. So I hope you're watching. I did send Allison an email saying, watch the show for your response. I'm right about gay marriage because the government's not permitted to give benefits based on religious practice. You can't say that because you did this, you can get this. Because therefore, by doing that, you're saying if you don't believe in this religion and don't take part in this religious practice, then you can't get these benefits. Then they took the entire thing and decided that you could just go down to town hall and get married, right? Go right down to city hall, get married, and enjoy the same benefits as people that did follow the religious practice. So it's still based on the religious practice. And it is a religious practice. And the government shouldn't tell religions what they should and shouldn't do. But they can't deny any benefits to anybody based on who they are. That's not the way that it works. Allison, I'm sorry. Gay people are not bad people. They're people, just like you. Unfortunately, Allison, you've got some hate in your heart. Are you aware that that's against the teachings of God? Yes, it is. And you seem to want to put a value on certain sins. God puts no value on sins. You got to listen to what I'm telling you. There's no value. It's not like you go to the back of the Old Testament, right? Or the New Testament, and there's a thing, and it says, all right, this is the order of the sins. Now, if you do this, I'm going to be kind of mad. If you do this, I'm going to flip out. If you do this, no, they're all the same, Allison. They're all the same. So if you break any, you're equally wrong in his eyes. Period. Period. So if you ever looked at some car and you said, oh man, I wish I had that car. Why don't I have that car? That person's so lucky and why don't I have that? And you are envious of that car and that person. You may as well go marry a woman. All right. I'm far from a liberal. You really need to go look in the mirror. The intended benefactors of the Constitution were all American citizens. Read it sometimes. Just read it. Read it. Sometime you go ahead and you read it, Allison. You tell me in there where it says that gay people shouldn't enjoy the same rights, and you tell me, and you say in others, so I assume you may want to get a little more into that, but you seem like a bigot to me. Give me a call or send me an email, and you can state your case if you want to that way, but that's my opinion of you thus far in our one-on-one little relationship. I don't like what I see, but you're welcome to keep coming back. All right, let's talk some politics. Well, we've been talking politics. A lot of great emails. Are you watching the debate tonight? Are you watching the debate now? Probably not. If you're watching me, I don't know how you're watching the debate unless you're on your mobile device. Streaming out now through Verizon because we can't use Charter. But Charter is what we have. Don't even ask me. Smarter people than I have figured this out. What are you looking for in the debate? Who's your candidate? Let me know. Is it Carly? Is she your candidate? You know, I'm going to tell you, she's kind of getting some looks here. She's getting some momentum. She's getting some things happening. Tell us why. Who are you plugging? Who you want to plug for? Who is your person? You can certainly call in, and you can certainly email in. I think all that information's up on the screen for you at this time. So I went and found all kinds of information. Some of this from Fox, and then it's just going to spin right into some stuff from, no pun intended, into CNN. I do have some MSNBC facts, figures, and stuff like that in here, and I just like to credit where I get the information, but I really, truly get it from all over the place. When something specific comes up that we need to credit, we certainly will. But there's a lot of voter dissatisfaction. Okay, I think we can all agree on that. The established politicians are in trouble. They're beginning to get in trouble. Even if they're not in trouble now, and the brainwashed still go the way they're told to go, there's less and less of them. People are waking up every day. Every day. A much trumpeted outsiders versus insiders contest has emerged with billionaire businessman. You know where that's coming from. Donald Trump taking center stage literally and figuratively at the Reagan Library out in California. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. You can set it if you have cable, if it's not out. I don't know if it's even out. Are we even on the air? Whoever knows. If you have cable, DVR it and watch the Freedom Network. And then after that, watch 3 on 11. And then go back and watch the debate. Like I said, I don't even know that I'll probably watch the debate, recorded, but I'll get to it. I'll get to it by midnight. I'll have it finished up. Unbelievable. So Trump is really the man, right? It comes down to him in this debate. Everybody's going to probably be attacking this guy, but he's aggressive. He has resilience, and every time you attack him, you seem to make him more powerful. So I'm not so sure that, and they will, but I'm not so sure that they can continually attack him. There's where he's weak. Trump is weak in substance. The problem is that, we knew that I could say he wanted to deport everybody. And they came out with a figure for that. It could cost in excess of $150 to $200 billion to deport every illegal alien. And that includes some infrastructure toward a wall. Okay. And then you figure that there's 20 to 25 million maybe illegal immigrants in there. You do the math out, it's 10 grand, give or take 3-4 grand. I'm not going to do the math right now, per to get them out. If they have one accident and they need major surgery, we've saved money. People are touting this big number, right? So there was some substance from Donald, but he didn't drill it down. And this is what made me nervous. If I could sit at home and do some math, you can sit at home and do some math, but we don't want to do the math, right? We're Americans. We want the information given to us. So, Donald, say it. Don't let them say to you it's going to be $175 billion or $200 billion. Say, no, well, you're right, it is. And that boils down to $7,300 or $11,200, whatever the number is, per illegal. And if they were to get into an accident or something were to happen and we had to pay for their medical expenses, plus whatever they just take just from existing, their mere existence is going to use some kind of resources and dollars from the American budget. Just driving cars. I mean, we all have to pay tolls and registrations and all that kind of stuff. How many times do you hear that the illegal alien was pulled over, they don't have a license, they're riding on the roads, they're not paying in? It's just crazy to me. On the other hand, when it comes to that issue of immigration, I think immigration is great for America. And I think everybody that's advocating to just let everyone stay should start petitioning the government, including the politicians themselves, that feel that we should just let the floodgates open, just let the people stay. There's no borders. Borders are man-made. It doesn't matter. Well, you know what? Then you got to take every benefit away with it. But go campaign and get for more legal immigration. If we need these people to perform jobs that no Americans will do, that were absolutely jobs that were done before we had 25 million illegal aliens in the United States. We ate fruit, okay? We mowed lawns, we had dishwashers in restaurants, things happened and the country moved along. But at the same time, I do think that we may need especially certain strains in certain areas, certain jobs in immigration. So I would challenge anybody that wants amnesty to stop wanting to end game and go around the law. Go change the law. But you don't want to do that because you're looking, if you're a politician, for votes. And that doesn't get you elected tomorrow. So I think Trump's got a bold stance on immigration. And you know what? It's not hurting him at the polls. I think people are just a little bit sick and tired of the same old, bring them in, and the reason they're getting tired of it is because so many are out of the workforce. So many people aren't working, and don't tell me that people don't do jobs, okay? Just don't tell me that they don't do them. There is a stockbroker that works where I fill up my gas. He got laid off, and he never could get back on his job and all that stuff, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. He's pumping, he's not pumping, he's in the thing and he's ringing up the register, right? Don't tell me that they won't do that. I drive by 2 farms just yesterday, all right? I was out over the holiday, and there were people working in the field and all that stuff, right? These were the family. You could see. It was the father, it was the kid, the wife was out there. You could see. They're teaching them. They were teaching them how to use the tractor and all that stuff. Americans will work, okay? Americans will work. Anyway, just go for it. Go tell the government you need more legal immigration, will you? To me, it would just make much more sense. You got Ben Carson out there, right? Now, Ben Carson, excuse me, he's closing in on Trump a little bit, right? He's starting to make some moves. And the reason is, I think, is because he's calmer. They agree on a lot of things. The funny thing is that the people on the stage agree on a lot of things. The ones that don't, I can't talk to you with a straight face about Jeb Bush. I just can't do it. I don't know who the heck is supporting Jeb Bush? And if you are, will you tell me why? Will you just tell me why? I really want to know who got a hold of you and made you decide that Jeb Bush would be a great president. And it has nothing to do with the politics of his brother. That I don't care about. He's got his own politics, and they do differ from his brother's. I'm not a dynasty kind of guy. And I'm not into it. Should the Bush twins, maybe one of them can run? And maybe one of their kids. There's got to be more of them. And Clinton's, Chelsea should run. And maybe her kids. Why don't we just adopt a monarch? And we can I think we have. And the fact that people are actually thinking about Hillary Clinton or Jeb Bush just makes me disgusted. I think the establishment Republicans. Carly, I think, is gonna really be the wild card here. I think that she's gonna surprise a lot of people. If she goes out on this attacking, if someone would get some substance in there, if you're the anti-Trump, all you're ever gonna get are the people that don't like Trump. And the thing is unfortunately, as I've looked at some polling data out from Real Clear, as well as some of my just normal hunts, just Rasmussen, and I look at all kinds of polls. And what's happening is that when you look at a lot of these people, who's your second choice? A lot of them are Trump. He's going to get over 50% if they all drop out. So if you're going to really make the challenge to him, I don't think your challenge is so much with him as a person. It's got to be with him on policy. If you're going to beat Trump, you're going to beat him on policy because he doesn't have a whole lot out there. Now, he has some. And he knows his see, the thing is that he understands and he's appealing to people because he gets it. He knows what it is. He's not one of them, but he's not one of you. Because he's worth umpteen $1 billion. So who is he? And why do we relate to him when he's so out of touch with who we are? I'll tell you why. Well, I'll tell you my opinion on why. Because he's a populist. That's what he is. He's a populist to the right, but not the far right. But to the right. And to also that more conservative, they call themselves Democrats, but vote Republican 50, 60% of the time. A lot of those people, to be quite honest with you, a lot of them are union members, and more than you'd think, but a ton of them are just general non-union laborers, and there are more of those than there are of union laborers in many, many areas. And that is who he's appealing to. He's appealing to the guy that gets up at 5 a.m. to go to work every day, can barely afford to pay his bills, hears that Obama's bringing in 10,000 illegals, hears that Obama's going to bring in and open the border down south because these people need help. How about you go help the homeless veterans in the United States, Mr. Obama? Maybe you take a peek at doing something like that. I got to get an Obama in there. Come on. But Carly looks good. Donald looks good. Bush, Kasich, Walker. These guys are the establishment. They're everything that's wrong with the United States of America. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get the same thing in a new package. Imagine if every Christmas you ran downstairs and under the tree was the same present, but they tricked you because they put it in a different package. You know, the Republicans, they don't really care about you. The Democrats, they don't really care about you. If they're party people like that, they don't care about you. Now, you've got independents in both parties, and then you've got registered independents. You've got libertarians, and you've got progressives. You've got so many different aspects of the political spectrum. If you think it boils down to two parties, you're crazy. We've allowed it to boil down to two parties. We've allowed these parties to really get into our heads and think that we couldn't survive without them. We can. We certainly can. Walker has seen the bottom fall out of his poll ranking. His position on the debate stage, I guess, is going to move him out to the wings. I don't really know. Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Rand Paul, looking for that Tea Party support. Problem with the Tea Party support is I don't know that you're going to get it all because you've got a lot of libertarian people that get into that Tea Party aspect as well of that, you know, that small government, right? Small government. Don't ever forget what Tea Party you started is T is taxed enough already. That's what it means. Taxed enough already. It started out as an anti-tax movement that then continued and spawned and grew into what it is today. And it's got a lot of people from places you may not realize. And I don't think that Ted Cruz did himself any favors if he was one of the guys, I think he was, that went to visit don't jump on the religious rights bandwagon. You're going to lose a lot of people. You're going to lose a lot of conservatives, constitutionalists, people like that. They don't give a damn about your religion because religion shouldn't matter in politics. So they don't care. When you make everything about religion, it gets them a little bit nervous. And you got a lot of those people in that Tea Party movement. You got a lot of those people in the Republican Party as well. The Republican Party, they like to label it as just all about the religious right. Maybe you need it for the nomination. But I'm going to tell you something. Trump doesn't have it. All right? Trump didn't support that woman. He's fine with the court's ruling. Maybe he's not fine with it, but he accepts it. It is what it is. You don't hear much about all of that with Trump. See, that's what I mean. I need substance from this guy. Where does he stand on all these social issues? Where does he stand on so many things? I just don't know enough about him, and we're so far along that if I don't get some substance pretty soon, I don't know that I'm going to be able to vote for him just because I don't have any substance. I don't know what I'm really voting for. But then I look at the field and I say, what a field. I guess I probably like Cruz if I had to pick one out of the three. Rubio, Cruz, Rand Paul. I don't see Rand. He makes me a little nervous sometimes. I don't mind 72% of his politics. I really don't. I get a little nervous with that isolationist kind of attitude that he can get. Again, because of what we talked about at the beginning of the program. But I like his constitutionality. I do like that, but then he mixes in with this religious stuff. And he does it. I don't know why he does it. Because then he loses that libertarian, if you will, that conservative Republican guy or girl that's not all about religion. And when you start to cozy up to some of these religious people, you become all about religion, even though you may not be. So I don't know. I think that really, to be honest with you, hurt them as far as trying to get a Trump voter. In most cases, probably doesn't really care what your religion is. They probably don't care nothing about it. They care about America. Let's make it great. I want to feel good about America. I want America to be strong. I don't want anyone to screw with us. I want to have a great country. I want it to be, 1955, and I'm at the roller place getting my French fries, and my biggest concern is are they cooked right? That's where you're looking. And a lot of people feel that way. And a lot of people are willing to let a lot of wild things happen to get that way. I get it, guys. I get it. But that's what they want, and that's where they are. You can find small independent polls to the big polls. When they all go one way, it's kind of hard to say the fix is on. One person can't control all the polls. There's no grand conspiracy I looked online today and had search results. There were so many. I must have looked through 75 polls I'd never even heard of, to polls that we've all heard of. And I don't think any of them are more than 3 to 5 points off of each other. So Donald Trump is a contender, folks. Whether you like it or not, he's a contender. If you are the one up there, you better really look at some things. You really better look at some things. All right, what else do we have here? Jeb Bush's PAC, Right to Rise. Right to Rise. What does that even mean? Who's rising? Who's right? They're focusing on the early states. Donald Trump they've got $24 million worth of ads set to air in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. They released one hitting Trump for being in a dark place while posing Bush as the bright candidate. Bobby Jindal also took a knock at Trump on Instagram with video cartoon spoofs of Trump's address to the USS Iowa Tuesday. Real Clear Politics had Obama job approval rating today at 45.9%, disapprove at 50.3%. Obviously, margin of error exists. Direction of country, right direction, 28.6%. Wrong track, 62.4%. Don't tell me that's not a good sign, folks. If you're someone that wants America to change back to being great and wonderful and strong and not taking any crap from anybody, but not running around being the police of the world either. But letting people know that us, our allies, the people that are going to stand with us when World War III finally starts, because inevitably humans will come to that. And hopefully it's in 5,000 years, but it'll come. We're going to stand with countries, and countries are going to stand with us. And we want them to know that we mean it. Excuse me, and we need to know that they mean it. We need to know that they mean it. And the relationship must be there. And I don't mind giving them a few bucks, but not what we give them. And I don't mind giving them some aid, but not what we give them. We give too much. We just give too much. We do give too much. But we need a coalition. We need our crew. And it really does not have to be a big crew. It can be a small crew. But it's got to be a powerful crew, and it's got to be ready. Because when it happens, and it will happen, we need to be ready. And that's what we want. That's what we want. That's what 62.4% of the people want. 62.4% of the people think we're on the wrong track. And half of those people, think that it's Obama's fault it's on the wrong track. And your remaining 20 some odd percent, I guess, think it's the Republicans' fault. I think it's all their faults. All of them. That's what I have to say about that. All of them. All right, let's put that aside there. Oh, let's see. A new Hillary PAC uses Ronald Reagan in her ad. Oh, my God. In an ad from Priorities USA, a PAC sponsoring Hillary Clinton gives a new take on former President Ronald Reagan's Morning in America ad from 1984. PAC takes the original ad and splices it into today's Republican candidates, critics of America, against Reagan's optimistic ad. So she's going to use... Oh, God, I can't... You know what? The Clintons are the nastiest, most vile people that I think are in politics. They are among the worst of the worst. I don't really have a whole lot of love and faith in another Bush presidency. I just don't. And I say another Bush presidency, and you say, yeah, but he should stand on his own. And he does stand on his own. What he says, I don't like it. I don't like what he says. So it's him. It's just him that I don't like. And the other thing I don't like is 1982 until 2020, when we're going to have Clintons and Obamas and Bushes. That's it. You think that's how America's supposed to be set up? Are you aware, by the way, that 4 Russian attack helicopters have been spotted on the tarmac at a Syrian airport that the Pentagon says is being converted into a Russian forward operating base? The arrival of the helicopter gunship follows the shipment of sophisticated battle tanks and shows the Russian buildup in Syria, escalating even after repeated complaints from the Obama administration. Do you think that Russia gives two you-know-whats about what Obama says? They don't care about what Obama says. Do you think Putin, he looks at Obama and he says, weak? That's what he says. The U.S. Official who had been briefed on the latest intelligence over Syria early Wednesday told Fox News that 2 Russian Mi-24 Hind and 2 Mi-17 HIP gunships have been seen in the latest satellite imagery over Assad International Airport. This is just unbelievable. Right now, there is no sign the Russian gunships have taken their first flights over Syria, according to the official, but intelligence analysts believe the helicopters could be airborne soon as maintenance crews prepare them for flight after arriving from Russia. Flippin' believable. Just unbelievable. It just blows my mind. You know, how about this? How about this? I just want to let me aggravate you, because when you watch a debate tonight, watch if anyone mentions these things. Russia is gearing up. Don't you see it? You folks that think everybody's just all about peace, you're delusional. They're not about peace. The Russians aren't about peace. I know you're going to tell me it's the people. It's the government, not the people. I get it. I get it. We're running slow on time. Russian sub near U.S. Coast Guard. Let me speak that one more time for you. Russian subs near U.S. coast pose no threat, says the Pentagon. This is real. This is true. Russian submarines patrolling the waters off the U.S. East Coast are not cause for concern and pose no threat. Nothing to see here, folks. Move along. This is from the Pentagon. A Russian Akula-class nuclear submarine. Russian submarines patrolling off the U.S. coast will not cause for concern and pose no threat to the United States. Pentagon said this today. So as long as they're operating in international waters, well, that's true. We don't run the world. They're behaving in a responsible way. They're certainly free to do so. What do you think they're doing there? You think they just decided we'll go over there and just check it out? They're going over there because they want to see what Obama's going to do. Did a boat or a sub get near them? Did we engage? This is just unbelievable. They played down the episode. It's interesting and noteworthy. They're in this part of the world. It doesn't pose any threat, and it really doesn't cause any concern. So we're not even concerned about the fact that we've got Russian subs off the East Coast, not that far into international waters. New York Times first reported the presence of the Russian nuclear-powered subs. It's like the Cold War heating up again. It's like the Cold War heating up again, folks. I can't read it anymore. It's because we have a weak president. We have a weak government. They won't protect you. They will not protect you. As a matter of fact, they're detrimental to your very existence. The existence of the Obama government is detrimental to your existence. And most any recent government, to be honest with you, that we've had in there. Everything we do is about money. Nothing we do is about freedom. And I don't think any politician has read the Constitution cover to cover in 25 years. And I'm sick of it. I'm over it. So you know what? The more I see these things, the more I lean toward a Trump. Not so. I used to like Cruz, but I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. Over this whole religion thing, I don't know. All right, they're knocking on it. I got like 15 seconds. I got to get out of here. So let me tell you this. You're watching the Freedom Network. My name is Gary Rosenberg. I'm glad you joined me. Episode number 50 comes to a close. That's 95 episodes in total for the Freedom Network. I'll be back next week.
Oh, Satan's that star-spangled banner, yeah, waving.
least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.